What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing, picking up a series I dropped a while ago just because everything I had left felt a little overwhelming, including still a box set that's quite intimidating. As far as guitar solos go, this series in which I rank Frank's guitar solos, compare them to each other within the context of an album, and then rank those albums to each other based on guitar solos only. This is the 78th review in this series. Zappa in New York, the 40th anniversary 5 CD release. Absolutely fantastic release in the grand pantheon of Frank Zappa box sets, things that have more than one disc, things that have more than two discs, things that have more than three discs. This is a top 10 release. If I did not originally rank this in the top 10, I should be shamed. This is absolutely fantastic. The mixes on this are incredible. Bozio and O'Hearn sound better than ever. Jobson sounds better than ever. Some of the guitar solos on here I think are just absolutely fascinating. Elsewhere on this channel, I am currently deep diving into Winter 77 tour, which is what followed these shows. You can see sort of a logical progression in Frank Zappa's guitar playing with like the Pound for Brown solo, a little bit of the Black Napkins, The Torture Never Stops. You can see how that 77 tour produces some better solos than the stuff on here. And I think these solos are pretty fascinating and pretty good. So there are 16 solos. I'm going to talk about all 16 of them. I'm going to rank them from 16 to 1. I'll put the list on the screen when I'm done. Not going to play any music from them. And then I'm going to rank this album among the other 77 that I've done. That's it. Pretty straightforward. I keep having the song "Moving to the Country, Gonna Eat a Lot of Peaches" in my head, and I'm trying not to say these words in that cadence. I'm doing like a 2-week theater class with a bunch of elementary school kids, and we're doing James and the Giant Peach, and they have been singing that song nonstop since like the second day, which absolutely rocks, but my cadence has been starting to get a little of that sway in it. So I apologize, but it's in my head. Anyways, let's get on to the list. At 16, 15, and 14, 3 of the same songs. We get 3 versions of "I Promise Not to Come in Your Mouth." We get the original version on the 77/78 release, disc 1. We get an alternate version. We get a deluxe bonus version. I ranked at 14 the original version just because it's the one I've heard by far the longest. It just feels comforting. I think the other 2 are equally good. They're both solos that more serve the purpose of moving the song along than they're trying to like distract you from the song or define a new narrative or be a new character that's in it. It's just very much, it feels almost like just a little part of the melody got loose and is just squiggling around and then rejoins the song. They work, they enhance the song. I like when Frank plays solos that aren't 3 or 4 minutes long and he only has a shorter amount of time to express himself, but it's a pretty unambitious solo, works perfectly. But if you're just going to compare solos, these have to be the bottom 3. At 13, I have the Purple Lagoon, off the original release, that Xenocronized solo, which just sounds so completely out of place and doesn't belong. And I actually have it ranked above the "I Promise Not to Come in Your Mouth" because I'm absolutely fascinated by the fact that Frank listened to that and thought it worked. Like you listen to Inca Roads off One Size Fits All. That guitar solo is from a live show. It's not a studio recording. The rest of it's from another live show. So it is 2 live shows, but from like completely different eras, times, months apart. But his ability to like smooth out those wrinkles so you aren't jarred by something that comes from a different source. Like his Xenochrony in the 80s is fantastic. This just is fascinatingly, I think, doesn't work. But because he tried and because it is so just what the heck is going on now, I rank it above the "Promise Not to Come in Your Mouths." So at number 13, the Purple Lagoon. At number 12, "I'm the Slime." This is the deluxe bonus version. The problem with this is once we get into the solo section and we got that funk going, we got that sway going, Frank starts talking instead of playing guitar. on the version that we have on the 91 CD, which I think is absolutely almost perfect. Frank's immediately just going and he's grooving and he's in the pocket. This one, he's encouraging Don Pardo to like go crazy in the audience, and apparently Don Pardo isn't. So Frank's like, come on, commit to the bit, or like, you got to do this. Come on, this is your one chance. And then he picks up the guitar. The solo's pretty good. It's on the slime. It's got that great groove. But the momentum is hurt by Frank. But Bozio sounds absolutely amazing. The drums, the bass, the keys on this, all the deluxe bonus versions, all the alternate mixes, fantastic. At number, that was 12. At number 11 and 10, we have the two Punky Whips versions. There is a deluxe bonus version, which I have ranked at 11, mainly because when the horns come in, it doesn't come in like on the original version, and this is the 91 release, when those horns, or even on the previous release, even before it was like the song was excised out, when the horns come in, it's like the perfect amount of time. They come in on the right downbeat. Everything works. When the horns come in here, it's a little too soon. It's a little too jarring. It distracts me from the solo. And so the overall experience of the solo, I think, just isn't quite as like perfect. But then on the unused 77 version, it just like works. It just absolutely fits. The mix is good. Bozio sounds fantastic. When the horns come in, they sound good. So yeah, they're both essentially Punky's Whips solos, but I think what is surrounding the solo kind of affects which one is just overall a better experience. But yeah, they're both at 10, 9 and 10 and 11. At number 9, I have the Illinois Enema Bandit, the deluxe bonus version of the Illinois Enema Bandit. And this is a pretty low-key, kind of groovy, just like Patrick O'Hearn is laying down a pretty like smooth groove. Like Frank like is fooling around for a while, then he steps it up and he kind of gets funky, a little bit bluesy, a little bit gritty, almost like a deep blues ZZ Top style. And like the escalations we get are like just really smooth and natural. And at one point he does this little like like bass like bluesy run, and then when we get to the end of it, the whole band just kind of steps it up a bit. Really, really great solo. Kind of low key, kind of chill, very bluesy and almost a pure, like one of the pure Zappa bluesy things, other than like a Simply A's in Blues or something that's like a straight up blues song. Thinking of that Frank Zappa plays the music of Frank Zappa jam, which again deviates from that. But anyways, really, really, really enjoyable solo. It's just too short. I just wanted more of it. The end comes without what feels like a true volcanic peak that we needed, because he did such a good job of like slowly turning up the heat. So that would be at number 10. At number 9, we have the deluxe bonus version of The Torture Never Stops. Where did I write down that solo? Yeah, your typical kind of low-key beginning to a Torture solo in 76. Super chill opening, but with purpose. Like Frank feels like he has an idea, he knows what he's doing. He's still just like keeping it down. It's a little bit funky. There's a little bit of bluesiness seeps in here. And then again, at some point, he just kind of steps up the intensity. Super passionate. Yeah, it's just really good energy. And it almost seems like at one point, like the band was scheduled to like, okay, I'm going to play for like, 64 bars of low-key stuff. 65, I'm stepping it up. But he got bored around 40, and so then he just stepped it up like much sooner than expected. And it feels like a couple run-throughs later, Terry and Patrick are like, oh wait, we got to pick up the speed. Like, you ready? And so it's got a neat vibe where when he steps up, the band is not there with him for a while. So it has this neat sort of like, I don't know, tension, release of tension type thing. But again, I think this one is also maybe just a little too short. Like, we're working towards a really, really, really nice volcanic build. It's super smooth, super steady, but we don't ever get that like, push it one more time. Just like keep going. But it's a super good solo. I really liked it. That would be at number 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be at number 8, The Torture Never Stops. And number 7, we have Black Napkins. This is the Vault bonus version. Where it is this. And this is just, where is the vault bonus version? Yeah, this is just kind of Frank, kind of early. He's playing pretty well early. When he starts off going, it's super jazz. I mean, he's playing early in the head. Then when he comes back to play solo, airy, jazzy, bluesy, nice, clean start. He really starts to dig in after a pretty brief while. He's not playing around with like the pink napkins type vibe for very long. We quickly sort of escalate into that black napkins big vibe before we drop down into some pretty chill like trillin', and then he kind of builds it back up again. It's interesting in that, one, the rhythmic vamp is almost more of like a doo-doo, almost like a Illinois Enema Bandit type, I think, bass vamp. It's definitely seems it's different than the normal Black Napkins bass vamp. And even though it goes on for quite a while, like Frank goes from like low to high, back to low to high. It's almost like he's searching for a wave to ride, and he's waiting for a wave. He catches one, but it's not that good, so he's waiting for it. And he catches another one, and it's better than the first, but it's ultimately not the wave he wanted, and then he calls it quits. So it's an enjoyable ride, and it's an enjoyable solo. But yeah, I would have that ranked at number 7. And number 6 is the original Illinois Enema Bandit. I just like that solo. I like the energy. I like the jamminess of it. I like the sound. Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with that solo way back in the day. So we have Illinois Enema Bandit. They're at number 6. At number 5, we have the deluxe bonus version of Pound for Brown. Currently in the Winter 77 tour. I think that's the MVP so far of the tour. The solos are fascinating. This one is fascinating. Weird, spacey echo effects. It's super out there. Bozio and O'Hearn are taking their time to kind of build nicely, while Frank kind of just goes crazy. It's got much darker energy than I think the original one had. The other one had a little more of a lighter feel to it. This is a darker version. Just fantastic. There's like the Patrick O'Hearn starts to get into his like boom, like his walk down bass part that he would like drive some of the most epic versions of Pound for a Brown in the years to come. Just everything about it. I just think it's Frank at his peak form in 76 and 77, and would eventually, I think, reach, it's either that or Black Napkins in 77. Just, you could rely on fantastic solos every time. No disappointment here. At 4 and 3, I have the 2 Cruisin' for Burgers, the deluxe bonus version coming in at 4. The alternate mix version, I believe is what it is the other one. The 1977 mix coming in at 3. I just love the mix on that new one. The keys are more present. The guitar, it's maybe a little buried more in the sound, but I feel like it's amongst the band, and it feels more like a jam, instead of Frank just like going crazy for like 5 minutes while the band does whatever they want because Frank's not paying attention. It's definitely the Racing for Burgers vibe. And Cruisin' for Burgers, like the editing on this song, like if you feel like there are so many of these songs like Punky Whips and Punkies and Cruisin' for Burgers where like the solos are from different shows, and it's crazy. And so this is pretty much a mix of, I think, the original solo and then the deluxe bonus version. It's a little more calm in the attack. It's definitely got a thinner, smaller sound. It's not as ferocious, but it's super tight. It's super interesting. Frank Stills just keep going, and then he keeps going, and then he keeps going, and then eventually he'll mess around, and then he finds like the fast lane again and keeps going. It's a pretty straightforward solo. And it does almost seem like Frank is just like racing across the like Mojave Desert, and he knows he can drive like 150 for like the next, 10 minutes before he hits like a gas station or something. And that's all he's going to do. But like, that's exhilarating, especially when you have Bozio and O'Hearn as your rhythm section. At number 2, almost in a way brought tears to my eyes because I knew that this was one of its last performances before it would pop up its head a couple more in Winter 77, disappear for all of eternity except for like a week in December 84, and that's Montana. The song would be played, but not the solo. And this is super funky, even though as it goes on and on, you realize Bozio's not the funkiest drummer Frank ever had. He's definitely no Chester, not even a Humphrey, who I thought wasn't too funky, but like Bozio's, like O'Hearn is bringing the funk, and Bozio knows how to, he's a drummer, so he's a musician, but he's not the funkiest. But it works. Absolutely amazing. Frank solo, super choppy, super wah fused, super staccato. This is full on wah jamming mode. It is funky. It makes me sad. Like, it's fun. Like, this is reminiscent of like a 73, fall 73, a 73 version, a 74 version. Like, the funk is real in this. And Frank plays so well, and it's so enjoyable. Did Frank realize, hey, this, in his like nitpicking mind, realizing the funk of this rhythm session can't compare to that last one, so I just can't keep playing a solo? Like, why? It's fantastic. Is it better than maybe the Cruising for Burger solo? Maybe not. The Pound solos, probably better. Illinois, maybe not, maybe, I don't know. I just think I would listen to this every day. It is so much fun. It is such a good time. And that means the number one solo on here is the Monstrous Mammoth. It comes from the 28 plus minute Black Napkins, the deluxe bonus version. Frank's playing in the beginning of this solo is so chill, so jazzy, so clean, so almost different than Frank that I'm still not sure it's Ray White. There are moments when it's clearly Frank, but then there are also moments where, like, is that Ray? And Ray will drop a Black Napkin solo in Winter 77, but it's quite a bit different than this. And it's not this sort of blank template. It's like he's got a rhythm section to work with. This is pretty much just like building from scratch. And I don't know if Frank would give Ray a building from scratch solo. But the beginning is absolutely amazing. And it's calm and it's relaxing. And then O'Hearn and Bozio come in and up the energy. And we get this sort of like rhythmic, just tight, like thumping like motif that they build upon. We get these bursts of aggression, but then they really go back down to like really soft stuff. I mean, it's really like almost Tourette's of playing, where it's just like we're soft and it's like, yeah, and then we go back soft. And the whole thing is this really like start, stop, build. And this goes on for a while, like a while. And then it just gets super, super nasty. And like everybody's interacting in Bozio and the band and O'Hearn. It's absolutely amazing. We peak and then we rebuild and we never really volcano, but we reach this peak, which is, it's almost like we've reached a new level. Now let's explore up here and explore this level. After that, we drop into what feels like almost a Ship Ahoy type vibe, where we got some like echoey delay effects. And then we kind of switch gears and finally end things with like what we would call like a straightforward Black Napkins, like rock solo. We get the airy jazzy stuff. We get a really, really nice build that has almost like this funky jazz prog vibe. And then we drop into like this, what did I call it? The Ship Ahoy, almost flirting with Ship Ahoy, but not quite going there. And then we end with like your ending Black Napkins rock solo. It's an amazing ride. And it comes at the end of like 28 minutes where like everybody gets a solo and all the solos are fantastic. And they're like, okay, Frank, top these ridiculous musicians. And I'm not sure he's not even trying to top them, because this is a whole different idea and a whole different world. And this solo is why we need to hear every single Black Napkin solo in the most massive of all box set releases. So yeah, that's what they all look like right there in order. That's how I would rank them, these solos. And if I were to rank this album among all others with just solos, I have it right there at 25. Yeah, there's some fantastic solos on here. And I think as I'm 77, the tour that would follow will produce many, many, many fantastic solos. Solos worth hearing. But this is Frank. And 74 and 82 and 79 and 78, all those years exist. And so 71, yeah, it's a lot to compare with. But yeah, I have it at 25, which is in the top third. So should be proud of that. All right, that's all I got. Been rambling a lot today, sorry, but I'm like exhausted, like manically exhaustive, if that makes it exhaustive, right? You know, when you get so tired, you know, we all know what I mean. All right, I'm going to quit while I'm not too far behind. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Leave me your thoughts on this release, these solos, things I messed up on. Did I forget a solo? I'm fearing I forgot a solo. And that's all I got. Peace. Talk to you later.